What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with my hands-on and first impressions video of the OnePlus Nord N20 5G. So let's get started. Now, this device was recently launched at T-Mobile and Metro by T-Mobile, and I believe eventually it'll also be offered factory unlocked. Now, to see the most up-to-date pricing and availability, definitely take a look at all the various links in the video description. Now, OnePlus has brought quite a few new things to the table here with the Nord N20 5G, but before I show you a variety of different things about the phone itself, let's take a closer look and see what all comes included here in the box. So included here is some literature. We have a SIM card removal tool. We have a USB-C cable for charging and data transfer, and this is pretty awesome. We have a 33-watt USB wall adapter for charging. So this does use the Super VOOC charging technology, so you will be able to recharge your phone very quickly. So as the name does imply, the OnePlus Nord N20 5G is the successor to the OnePlus Nord N10 5G, and that device launched about a year and a half ago. Now, I know that the N10 was a huge seller for OnePlus, and it was very popular, especially at Metro, and I'm definitely expecting the Nord N20 5G to be the same way. In fact, when I was looking at the websites of both Metro and the regular T-Mobile, it looks like they're offering this phone for free if you switch in from another carrier. So I'm definitely expecting deals like that to continue on, and who knows what other deals and promotions might arrive in the future. But the point is that I am expecting the Nord N20 5G to be very successful due to all the various promotions going on. So definitely keep that in mind. Now, with the OnePlus Nord N20 5G, we have a very large 6.43-inch display, and this display is AMOLED. So that is pretty surprising to see here. You don't see too many lower-end 5G devices that do have AMOLED displays. And I know that there is the Galaxy A53 5G that does have a Super AMOLED display, but that phone is a bit more premium than this one. So regardless, it's really good to see that we do have AMOLED here for the display, since we get really good colors and also great viewing angles as well. Now, the display itself is 1080p. It features a PPI of 409, so very crisp and clear here. We have a 20:9 aspect ratio, so a more narrow but taller form factor, and we have an 85.3% screen-to-body ratio. Now, we do have a little bit of a thicker bottom bezel, not too bad overall, but all the other bezels are very small, and it's also nice to see that we do indeed have a hole punch for the front-facing camera. So in general, I'm a big fan of this front form factor here of the phone, and I'm especially glad that we do have AMOLED here, because most other phones that tend to be in this price range have LCD instead. The only downside with the display on this device is that it is 60 Hz, so that's kind of the standard refresh rate that you'd get with a lot of lower-end smartphones. But then again, lately we've been seeing a lot of devices with 90 and even 120 Hz as the refresh rate. So unfortunately, you're not getting that premium refresh rate with the device. But in my opinion, I'd rather have an AMOLED display compared to a faster refresh rate. But I'm really curious to know what you think about that. Definitely let me know in the comment section below. Now, with the Nord N20 5G, we do have a 16 megapixel front-facing camera. And with this device, we get 128 gigabytes of internal storage, and we also have microSD card expansion. So it is pretty nice that we do get quite a bit of storage there. And then if you do want to offload photos and videos, for example, then you can always add in a microSD card. Now, there is no wireless charging with the Nord N20 5G, but we do have a fingerprint sensor built into the display, which is also a really awesome feature to see, and something that I really wasn't expecting to see with the device at all. I hadn't really looked too much into it prior to ordering the phone because I knew that I wanted to cover it no matter what, and I was assuming that the fingerprint sensor was on the power button instead, but it does indeed turn out that it is built into the display, and it's also very fast and accurate. So this is probably one of the best in-display fingerprint sensor implementations that I've seen yet on a lower-end device like this one. Now, in addition to having that in-display fingerprint sensor, we also do have face unlock with this device, so I do appreciate that we have multiple methods for accessing the phone. Now, taking a look at the cameras on the back of the device, we do have a triple camera setup. It's kind of an interesting configuration and form factor for the camera module, but I do appreciate that it is kind of different and unique. But most importantly, I'm really curious to see what the actual photos and videos look like from all the various cameras on the device. Now, we have a 64 megapixel main camera, a 2 megapixel depth sensing camera to give us portrait mode, which we also have with the front facing camera as well, and a 2 megapixel macro camera for close-up images. Now, here's how things look with the main camera on the device. Then from here, we can go over to the More tab to access the macro camera, so we can get very close up. I do wish that this phone did have an ultra wide angle camera, but unfortunately, we don't get that here. But we can go over to portrait mode to get those nice blurred out backgrounds, and then we can flip around to the front facing camera and do the same thing. So there's me right there. I'm gonna take a picture. There we go. And then I can also take a standard selfie as well. So in general, I appreciate that we have so many different cameras on this device, giving us a lot of different abilities. And if you are someone that is into mobile photography, but at the same time you don't want to spend too much on a smartphone, then I do feel like this is a good option. Now with this device, we have 6 GB of RAM paired up with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 695 5G processor. And so far, things do seem pretty quick here. Of course, you do have to consider that it is kind of a mid-range, lower-end Android smartphone, so you certainly shouldn't expect it to be the fastest device out there, but thankfully, things do run smooth enough here, at least so far, that it does seem like it would work very well for the majority of people out there. Now, I did run a benchmark test using Geekbench 5, and I'll show you the scores in that test right now, but essentially, I got a single-core score of 679 and a multi-core score of 1966. So what I recommend doing is running this test on your current phone and then compare your scores to these scores to get a better idea of whether or not the OnePlus Nord N20 5G is going to be a performance upgrade for you, because it could be possible that the current phone you have might be faster than this one. Now unfortunately, video recording with this device maxes out at 1080p with both the front and rear cameras, and I believe that's a limitation of the processor on this device. But nonetheless, I do wish that it did have the ability to capture 4K video, considering that nowadays most people do have 4K TVs, and sometimes you want to take a video with your phone and see it on your TV, so not being able to get that full resolution could potentially be an issue. But this phone does have a pretty large battery at 4,500 milliamp hours, and then as I showed you earlier on in the video, the phone does support 33 watt fast charging, and I'm really happy to see that that charger is included in the box, giving us that 33 watt fast charging ability, because there's a lot of smartphones that can support very fast charging, but you don't even get the charger included, and then you have to go out and buy that on your own. So having that charger included in the box does give this phone quite a bit of extra value. Now the software on here, while it is good, is unfortunately still Android 11. So I do appreciate that with OnePlus, they essentially take the best of stock Android, but add in some of their own bonus features. But at the same time, we are now in essentially the middle of 2022. This phone only launched about a month ago, and it really would have been nice if we got Android 12 with it. It is pretty disappointing that it is on Android 11, but hopefully we get an update to Android 12 pretty soon. Now a nice surprise here is that the phone does have NFC, so if you do like to make mobile contactless payments using tap and pay, then you can definitely do that here with the Nord N20 5G. I know that that's a feature that I use all the time on phones that do support it, so it's definitely great that we do have it here. But now that we've gone over a variety of the different features and highlights with the OnePlus Nord N20 5G, let's take a closer look at the hardware of the phone. Now I already talked quite a bit about the front panel here, and again, this is a great looking display. Really glad that we do have AMOLED here for the display, and then of course with it being 1080p, that makes it even better. Now the phone is made completely out of plastic, besides the display of course, which is made of glass, but despite it being made out of plastic, it does look decently premium, and it certainly doesn't feel cheap. Now on the left side of the phone, we have the slot for the microSD card and SIM card, we have volume up and volume down. Then on the right side of the phone, we have the power button, and then up top here we have the noise canceling microphone, and then on the bottom of the device, we have the 3.5mm headphone jack, microphone, USB-C port for charging and data transfer, and we have the speaker. And then on the back of the device, we have the camera module, flash, OnePlus logo, and that's pretty much it. So again, I really like the appearance of this device. I also appreciate that it doesn't really pick up too many fingerprints. Now you certainly can see some fingerprints on the back of the phone, but compared to other devices that have a glossy back, it doesn't really look too bad at all. And again, overall, it's a pretty fancy, sophisticated looking device. But this concludes my hands-on and first impressions video of the OnePlus Nord N20 5G. I think this is a really exciting, mid-range, kind of upper-lower end device that's being offered on Metro and Metro by T-Mobile, and then of course hopefully being offered factory unlocked as well. But if you are looking to get a decent, affordable smartphone, then this certainly might be one that you should consider. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up, and let me know what other content you'd like to see me do about this device. But this is Kevin here, this is the OnePlus Nord N20 5G, and I will see you in the next one.